This episode, the Xavier and friends called the Troublemakers and Ms. and Mr. Gonsin's trial.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to ABC News, and today, the Troublemakers Cody, Classic Oscar, Joseph Reed, Classic Yasmin, Classic Caillou, and Jordan's trial, and also Ms. and Mr. Gonsin's trail as well. They were all arrested for bailing Ms. and Mr. Gonsin out of the jail just to scare the super readers and take them away, and also grounding them big time by trapping them in their room with absolute nothing. And so we will be back at 1:30 p.m. for another news show on ABC News.
At the Troublemakers and Ms. and Mr. Gonsin's court case.
Court case is now in session. So Cody, Classic Oscar, Joseph Reed, Classic Yasmin, Classic Caillou, and Jordan. You guys have been convicted for bailing Ms. and Mr. Gonsin out of the jail just to take the super readers away to scare them. And as for you Ms. and Mr. Gonsin, you've also been convicted to child abuse and attempted murder when you trapped the super readers in their room with absolutely nothing in their room since 2021 to 2022. What words do you have to say?
Super readers always been bad a lot. They stole my credit card 2 times, ruined the Elias concert, threw a house party, and got me fired. So I've had to trap them in their room with absolutely nothing and gave them warrant-style punishment.
Troublemakers, Ms. and Mr. Gonsin, you have the right to not say offensive words in court.
You guys are the worst when you guys snuck into Jordan's house. Our old parents gave us Warren-style punishment says, spankings, yelling at us, and much worse, trapping us in our room with absolutely nothing.
Ms. and Mr. Gonsin, you guys are abusive to the super readers. Who do you think you are? I would never do such a worse thing like that to our other sons when they're little.
Be quiet, Jordan's mum.
I wanted to scare the super readers so their old parents can take them away.
Troublemakers, Ms. and Mr. Gonsin, since you guys won't stop, I will be convicting you with that in court. Anyway, do the plead.
We plead.
How do you plead?
Guilty.
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 Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
All right, Troublemakers and Ms. and Mr. Gonsin, you guys are now 65 years in prison and also convicted from court also well.
When Troublemakers and Ms. and Mr. Gonsin got in prison.
This is your cell with no bed and no toilet. By the way, you got visitor who wants to have a word with you.
When Green Goblin, Big Bird, Snuffy, David Reed, Jane, Boris, Jordan's mom and dad, and the super readers walks in. Classic Caillou, how dare you, Ms.
Mr. Go to sleep on the floor right now.
Right now.
Every meal.
Go to sleep on the floor
Go to
right
sleep
now.
on the floor right now.